All right, guys, here we are to talk about Izombie Season 3, Episode 2.
What up?
So how'd you think this went?
I liked parts of this episode.
Characters have changed.
Characters have changed, haven't they?
In a way that is not necessarily for the best.
Almost totally bad.
Like,
bad
like
ways.
Ravi doesn't say anything fun ever anymore. And he was like my favorite character.
He's troubled now. Now Major's the comic relief.
Yeah, I don't know. Still, like, even
That's
though
gonna
Major
be
came around, I still don't like him.
That's going to be a fascinating transition. Damn
Yeah.
it. No, I don't know.
Yeah, so Major's a little girl this episode.
Yeah, if we want to dive into that was like my low point. Like him being so bad at that, like, really hurt. Like, it made her, like, normal performance, like, so much better.
Mm-hmm.
When she showed up, I was like, oh, thank God. She's showing up to be like, listen, Mr. Champ Sports, Scram, whatever. I was like, oh, so this is the, now this is great. Before, I was like, is this what's happening right now? Because the second it's like we have two brains, blah, 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 I was like, oh, I guess I know what's going to happen. Oh, God. And then the exact same thing happened.
It all makes me question Clive and his intelligence throughout the whole thing. Like,
his intelligence.
when you see how obvious and on the nose a lot of these things are, I'm like, how did he not know immediately things were like a miss? He mentioned something, but like he should have called it out actively, like immediately.
No. He said something at one point, and it was pretty funny, right? He said something like, "No, she always takes on the traits of whoever we're investigating. I've just been letting her go with it. I figured it was part of her process, or something like that."
But
like,
because it's so on, like, the idea that it wasn't mentioned makes me like think that's like a joke that was written like as an afterthought
to
like,
cover
like,
up the fact that it was whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's just like
we were giving him shit for a long time until then, and then it became clear like this is the format of the show. She just does the thing or whatever.
I don't know if if it's taking a direction that I like with these like zombie army and like there's people and like they have such confidence and blind faith that zombies exist that they're murdering people in the streets.
Ridiculous.
Like, dude finds a tube of Gogurt in the fucking dumpster, and he's like, it was full of brains. How the fuck do you know it's full of brains?
Yeah, the FBI tested it.
It's 100 fucking brains mashed together.
Yeah, that's as many brains as you can fit in a Gogurt tube.
But just think about that. They're like whipped, blended, parfaited. You'd have no way of knowing it was brains.
I'm starving. Don't do this to me.
It just makes me sad.
No, I know. Like, what is this trying to fill in? This is like the anti-mutant protesters that are right. It's like you have to have the people who are against. It's like the local whoever's.
There should have had to have been one thing, like one viral video of someone zombieing out, like, and then I could be like, okay, people will believe they're zombies now. But what is the basis? Why do you believe there are zombies? Like,
right, there would have to be, and I guess so.
And a support group or whatever online with a lot of fucking people in it. That doesn't seem likely in the event that nothing ever came out.
They might backfill it. So now I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt 100% for everything. Or I have to wait one or two more episodes before. Because we were like, who the fuck is this kid? What's the point of this? Did they mention this kid? Did we miss this? What the fuck's happening? And they devoted this whole episode to backfilling. Like, this is why, like we give a shit about Clive and this kid or something like that. And I don't love that, but at least they fucking did it. And they weren't like, oh, I'm so sad about that kid we just met or whatever. Right?
No, yeah. They needed this exposition episode to tell you, like, why that even happened. But I don't know if it's the right direction to do the backfill, like in some of these situations.
Well,
I think it's better to put things on, like right in front of you, and then be like, oh, look, here you go.
The only reason I liked it is because, and also, so I liked it. I don't like that it happened, but I liked the way it happened or whatever the fuck, because I think it gave the audience a decent amount of like credit, and I say that bearing in mind that this show is kind of retarded, where like. They didn't spoon feed it to you, and like the flashbacks did like the melt away background thing, and they weren't very clear about like, oh, well, this happened in between those other two flashbacks, and this happened first. And and the flashbacks were not like sepia blurry with a vignette. Like,
that's good.
It was just like, here, we're just going to show you what happened, and we're just going to trust the audience to understand that like, yes, this is this person, and that's he. Yes, this is back when he was doing this. Look, he has a mustache. Like, it was very just like, okay, just put it out there, and I was like, okay.
What the heck kid was? He was 9.
I have no idea.
9 or like 11
I'm not
or
paying
something.
attention to any of the people on the show.
My issue with like a lot of these things, it's kind of like whenever you do a show and like there's an episode where they're thinking back on all the good times and it's all the things just happened that episode, is kind of my issue with this, where because there was not any placement like in season 1 about this kid, you have a child who Clive knew at the bare minimum 3 years ago, and Like, when he would have been so different looking, because the years, like, 1 through, like, 14, a lot of change occurs pretty dramatically. So his flashback to 3 years or more ago.
Wait. When did he become a zombie, though? Because he wouldn't look different after becoming a zombie.
This had to have been before he was a zombie.
Yeah, but I think he became a zombie, like, right at the end of that time period and hasn't changed, like, since then.
I don't know.
I think.
Not sure. That could be an answer, but
I like
that's a
some of that
luck out
stuff.
bullshit for them.
Yeah.
I don't think that was written that way.
I don't think that was, like, carefully plotted along or something.
No, he's
Yes.
because even if it just happened the day after.
Yeah.
And how did she even end up getting into this thing? Because
So that part I'm not clear about. He made some sort of comment.
she wasn't
was gonna
remarried.
say-
It was military personnel on a picnic.
Yeah.
How the hell did she even get involved in this?
I don't really
She's
know.
like a den mother involved with the school now, but that school didn't exist until there were zombies.
No, yeah, they made a comment
So
that
how'd she even get there?
I was going to open with, like, I think I missed some things in this episode because there were all these flashbacks and all that stuff and things happening. And they make a comment about something. Like, he tells the other cop, like, yeah, I got a letter. They said blah, blah, blah or something like that. But I didn't catch the whole way
Said that
that
she was
supposed
living
to
with
be
her brother.
connected. Yeah, but, like, was her brother, I guess, worked for the Z Nation Army or something? Is that the
Well,
deal?
3 people were
I don't
killed,
really
so
know. Yeah.
either that was the brother or the whatever,
Yeah.
but I don't know.
I don't really know. But
I also don't know the full rules on military base living and whatnot.
Yeah.
Like, can you have anybody live with you?
I don't know, and I'm
Not
not
sure.
what their deal was before or after or what's happening. But
But it does stand the reason that
yeah.
regardless of the living situation, they could have totally gone to a family picnic. That I think would have been okay.
That's probably fine. It's probably fine. The whole overarching thing is so ridiculous that when you get into little like things of like, shouldn't this have happened this other way? I'm like, on this show, you can just run into a radio station with your badge out, and they'll go, oops, and then you just walk out again, and everything is fine. And I'm like, all right, that's fine, I guess. Like,
Yeah.
nothing matters.
My major issue is just I hate this type of like, we just have to add this character and they meant a lot. You know before.
No,
The show's been on for 3 years.
That's what I mean. Like, it's an obvious retcon to like get something in there to have something have happened, but I feel like it's like redeemed by the fact that what actually like, because like her. Okay, this is the whole thing that I was gonna say. Her, the character, the like waitress next door, the mother of like the kid, and Clive, and their like thing together, I thought was super strong. Like her, like when she shows up wearing her uniform and says like, "I'm in a bind, I need some help," blah 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 blah. I hate to ask, but could you cover my shift at the diner or whatever? And he's like, and it's like record scratch, like what? And she's like, just kidding. But could you watch this guy right here? And then the whole Game of Thrones thing, like it was cute, it was charming. I really liked it.
That was fine.
And I really liked how like she was kind of like witty and smart and kind of calling Clive on his shit.
Yeah, it was the perfect person just to kill off after meeting them.
Well, there's that, but also like I like that it was the FBI chick like last season, right? That Clive was into or like whatever. So now we know that like this is his like type of chick or something. And I like that we've established this thing where like Clive walks around and talks to like Major and Ravi and his stupid like partners and other cops, and he's just like, oh, everyone's like, and all these witnesses, like everyone's such an idiot all the time and so horrible or like whatever. But he's really into these like smart, like intelligent, witty like chicks that he can like verbally spar with, who like fuck with them and call them.
Oh, who wouldn't like that?
And I was like, oh, this is a nice like we're actually like developing a character like like a little bit. I still think that the actor playing Clive doesn't necessarily fit the role that they've eked out for him or something like that. And we say that a bunch because he shows up and like takes down the abusive husband. And I know like judo is a thing or Krav Maga or something like that, but he
doesn't stereotypically look like a dude who would be ripping people to the ground.
No, he
looks like he's 5'4".
Yeah, he's like consistently manhandling people in all these circumstances, which seems weird. But I like the guy, so I think it's fine at the end of the day.
No, I like the character, so I'll let a little bit of that slide.
Yeah.
But I agree with you.
That's my spiel about all that.
Sure. So this episode is kind of...
oh, yes. What the fuck happens in this episode, right?
Not much, really.
But we're back to the formula. We have the case. We have the brains. We have the culinary montage.
Which was really lame.
Well,
it was not a good one this time.
And all right, so this is another fucking thing.
Chili dogs.
I have like a bullet point list of things. No, chili dogs is horrible, and like honestly, like those pots are so big, and there's so much brain, it's so spread out. Like we always call that out when it like comes up or whatever. But you should have to eat like a fourth of the brain for this to even work, right? One brain should last them like a year at this rate. There's so little tiny.
Well, how
chunks
long were
in
they
there.
eat what's his face?
Holy
Like
shit.
bounty hunter guy's brain
I don't know.
for 6 years? What was his name? Like Modoc or Malo? Lojack. What was his name?
What?
The guy who was the mercenary that they were eating up until this season.
Yeah,
I'm still on Cujo brain.
I might have known.
What was his
yeah.
name?
Trapper.
No. It was like a name of an American gladiator. It was.
Oh, okay.
I'm still on
Laser.
Lobo's brain.
I'm still on laser.
Yeah.
Oh god.
But yes, they definitely make them last when convenient for them.
No,
and
I was
other
gonna
brains
say,
are gone
yeah.
immediately.
No, but there have been all these shortages and all these like dire situations with brains, and it's like you can probably just borrow a little piece of a living person's brain at this point. You need like just a tiny bit, like Joe Friday, just put a little brain up in there, and you're just good to go. It seems crazy to me.
Just eating tumors and stuff that they get extracted
Just
at
a
the hospital.
extra bit of
oh,
brain.
using that? Let me just get
Yeah.
a little bit.
Come on. But yeah, so, and now the thing's gonna be, maybe there will always be two, or usually two, or if there's one, they'll both have to eat it,
I
and that'll
definitely
be funny.
think there's going to be a trend.
This is like the new thing, and we already touched on it, but the Major's whole fucking thing, how did you feel about that? I don't know. I don't want to
Terribly.
just dominate the thing. Okay.
Hey, Major's like not my favorite person ever.
Yeah.
I thought he had a specific niche that I liked him in when he was just like this run and gun kill people in a fucking ice cream shop or whatever, the deli or whatever it was.
Yeah.
But other than that, he's not really been like this guy for me. So seeing him play a 15-year-old girl, I was like, yeah, all right, that's gonna get old really quick, and it did.
Oh,
and then
yeah.
Liv playing the dad, I was like, oh god, can I give you some money? Like I understand they have to they're insulting me at every turn here. If you have a trait, like I understand, you're picking up how someone lives, how someone does,
Yeah.
but you would not like automatically, like she then treats Major like he's her kid. That guy does not treat random people on the street like, do you need some money? Like,
Right. I know. Listen, I told 100%.
there's a $5 bill in it for you if you give me that, blah, blah, blah. What?
Right.
That's how he talks to his daughter. He's like a dumb dad to his child, not
Yes.
to everyone in the world. He has a job. He's not like,
Yeah, and
oh, fuddy-duddy Bill.
Well, everyone said like he's a nice guy, everybody loves him, something like that or whatever. But no, like whenever this sort of situation happens, people just stand in for the other person or whatever.
Yeah.
Or like the still living person that they should react to the same way if they have those thoughts. They don't or whatever, right? There's always
Yeah,
this weird.
it's such
like,
a weird thing. It doesn't make any sense.
It's such a and it's such a like a simple sort of thing. If I just explain to you, yeah, you eat their brains and it like goes in your brain or something, and then you like take on parts of them. It's like, okay, great. What can we do with that? Only very narrow, specific things that do not pay off in like a huge way.
No.
Because why is he? I don't know. Maybe that's just like I can come up with a reason to like defend anything, I guess, or whatever. So I understand like that's why he's texting or doing like whatever the fuck. But like, it should be that Major feels like the way that a teenager feels and can't like control his impulses and all that stuff.
Yeah, he
right?
shouldn't be a girl.
He shouldn't become a girl. Yeah, exactly. He should not literally become a girl. He should actually say like, oh, this color doesn't go with that color. What the fuck? Like he should be doing like that. He shouldn't be doing or whatever girls do. I don't know about girls.
It's not entirely done the way you would have wanted it to be done.
And it started off with just him and like Ravi like riffing with each other in this like horrible like long thing.
Yeah.
After that, it was sort of okay because with her there to anchor it and for him to just react to her being like the dad, that was like okay. And I think she does have the range to do a lot of these different things. And like they're not all great, but she can kind of do them. And I so far I don't think he has the range to pull off. And I'm so hoping we get some really interesting brain space out of him during this season.
I only had
really cool.
one flashback per person. Like, we're dumbing down like that whole play up of it. It doesn't seem to be as valuable. Back in the day, you had a whole bunch of rewinds and what's happening and this and that. I was triggered. Oh, I had a thought.
I noticed that too. One thing about the flashbacks, there's blinking now. I don't think there was always blinking. I found it very distracting and upsetting. Because, I mean, I guess you would if you were looking at someone else's eyes, but I don't notice when I blink, really. Not to that degree. I don't know. It was like a weird, like, thing around the vision, too. Like
That's because people complained last season. I don't know when she's having a vision.
Okay, that's what. But like that's the opposite of the flashback thing, where they just seamlessly have Clive's head like pop up and then the background melts back to the interrogation room.
Yeah.
This is the opposite, where whenever it's a vision, the camera can't move. It has to be gooey, and we have to blink so that we know. Oh, you're seeing through their eyes. I get it, or whatever. And it's the start of a new season. Maybe we're establishing something. I don't fucking know. Whatever. But yes. This episode was like diluted between this case and like Clive and his like history stuff.
Yeah.
And this was a case where you had two brains and there was a lot of stuff to do, but you chopped it short to fit in all the Clive stuff now.
Exactly.
I feel like you could have rearranged your season and done like a better job with that.
You would think, yeah.
Possibly.
But you know, they're professionals. They know what they're doing.
Well, they're on their third season, so they're just starting to get a feel for the show.
They fired everyone from season 1 and 2 and made whole new people.
Did they?
I just have to imagine.
Sometimes you know things, and you say it the exact same way if you're making it up completely, or if you really like literally.
No, I don't know that for a fact at all. Just my assumptions is the network has stepped in for this season because any season where you have less episodes than the season prior, you know it's not because you did something great. You had a problem, and they went, you know what, you can't handle 19, kid. You get 16 now. You get 12. You get 11. Whatever, and that's what they had. So I would imagine someone took a bullet on this.
I like it. And a lot of characters died at the end of last season, so I feel like maybe renegotiations happened or something, and they were like, "I will not be coming back next season. I'm the wings guy. All right, this is beneath me." And that was just
he's dead now, so he's not coming back.
That's what I mean. He's cool, but they would have done you do that on purpose if you're gonna
Yeah.
I assume.
Yeah, had he said I'll do the show forever, he probably would not have died.
I would think, right? It's maybe I'm giving the wings guy too much Hollywood credit.
I think he's got some juice,
and he still got it too.
Yeah, he's certainly better than anyone on the show. So
yeah,
that makes sense.
I did kind of like of all this horrible brain stuff because I'm just gonna try to pick things out of the notes and axe this.
Let me know what you got.
Son of a bitch. Major was horrible, but when he says, "I have mercenary training," God, I enjoyed that particular line.
There's always some things that you'll fall backward into success with, and that was one of them.
Something about, and he like flips his coat and goes like, "Oh, like you're always doing it," and then like yells something else, like, "You stop controlling my life," and then leaves to go do mercenary training or whatever the fuck. Oh God! And then what followed that was kind of weird with like your abs are amazing, and they're like,
your abs make me want to kill myself. They're so good.
Oh, it's like I'm being there again.
It was terrible.
It was very terrible, and the selfie and things and the stuff or whatever. I don't know.
Just like I understand, you need like. That's like the cringe moment where you're like, oh, God, can you believe he's doing this? Da, da, da. And I do agree he does not have the range to be doing all these things. And he didn't sign up for that. When the show came out, he didn't know he was going to do that shit. It changed. Like, no one anticipated the show lasting 3 seasons, let alone, 1.
Yeah. No, he was like, oh, God, because the pitch of the show is I'm the, like, normie boyfriend, and then she's like, I have to go be a zombie now. And I'm like, Liv, what the fuck? And then I go off and do another modeling gig with jeans or whatever. And then it's like, no, you stay. You go through all these things. You become a brutal hitman. You become a zombie. You go to a mental institute. You do all these different things. Oh no! Now I feel bad for this guy.
Well, no, all those things are better than his original thing he signed up for. Just he's not the best at them.
No, that's what I mean. Like this is not. I think deep down he probably knows this is not my strong suit. I should just do like one thing.
Next episode will be musical.
Oh, I hope they do a musical. Oh, God, they're going to get a brain of someone who just can't stop.
Pavarotti's brain.
Pavarotti's brain. They'll have scarves on. They'll be walking around. Oh, it'll be dope as fuck. One of them will dress like the clown. That's the only opera I know. No, the clown, and then the helmet with the horns. And one of them will be Bugs Bunny.
All right, so they solved the murder, obviously. It was a young girl. She was sleeping with her stepdad. It was the mother. Presumably, the father obviously guilty of statutory rape, but the mother was the murderer. And Clive, you get his backstory. You find out that, he had some feelings for this girl, but because of his job, he was away, and she had to go to be safe. And she's dead now, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, and then easy come, easy go. He finds out about stuff, and then she's taken away again.
Yeah,
sad times, yeah.
So that's kind of this episode.
They dropped some shit about 22 months ago, 21 months. 21
Yeah,
days.
they projected
and all
we'd
that
have
stuff.
3 years and
Yeah.
short
So
of that.
it's nice. So with a show like this, or with any show that's not giving it to you, especially if it's procedural and we could do this forever. You kind of wonder.
But that's our timeline right there.
Yeah,
So
I
we
know.
know they were converted 2.5 years ago.
So it makes total sense.
It
that
doesn't make
Why
sense
not?
because he met that girl like at least 3 years ago.
That's then.
But 21 months ago
Yes.
was when this bite happened. Was
Yes.
was when they were converted, right?
Right.
21 months ago they were converted.
That's why he hasn't changed in the last 21 months.
No. But the problem with the timeline thing
Oh,
is
God.
is the reaction with him. He saw the last time he could have possibly seen them was over 3 years ago.
Was
Ish.
21 months ago.
Well, this is the third season, so I'm assuming 3 years have passed.
No, 22 months since he got the letter about her, and he was in.
Wait, when did they say 22 months before the letter?
I wrote it down here. Yeah.
Or
'Cause
I
it-
thought with
'cause
22
it lines
months.
up with the thing. Yeah. He
Hmm.
says 22 months ago he got the letter. That's when everyone.
That's a
was
very weird thing to say in his interview. Exactly 22 months ago.
He
exactly.
said it because they wanted everyone
Yeah,
to know.
I don't like that.
And what they're setting up, I think, is that and it's kind of weird because Liv got infected from Blaine and like the bad drugs and stuff.
Yeah.
And is that the same, like, I don't know where this other shit happened, but she washed up on the shore and then like walked home. I don't know where they were relative to all that. Didn't they say they were somewhere else?
Well,
I don't really know what's going on.
no, how they got infected was her husband was infected by Blaine. Blaine infected him because he knew he was rich and successful and wanted to get the money
And
from
they
him.
were all away.
And they then that would have been 3 years ago ish, and then 22 months ago was when the bomb went off that would have killed everybody, and she infected all of them. So yeah, the timeline does make sense.
Okay.
As much as I hate it all.
No, but that would mean that Clive. No, so. Now I'm the one thinking and not talking.
Well, the issue for me is that you don't know how long, because they didn't explain anything about how she actually got into this group.
Yeah.
So we know that 22 months ago is when the picnic was.
Right.
So they could have been away living anywhere and just got invited to that picnic.
I know.
So that's the problem, is that there's not any direct correlation necessarily other than that. Assuming they were living with their brother and their brother had to have been military, and that's the connection.
Yeah, and they all got infected then, which was after the original thing.
Yeah, because that would have been 3 years
But
ago.
that would mean that Clive should have still had the mustache when he met Liv, because that's right then. Because he comes out of being undercover to find that they're gone, but gets a letter like at some point thereafter.
No, the letter, though, was 22 months ago.
Yes.
He left them long before that, but potentially 6 months,
so-
8 months.
Yeah, but that's still 3 years. That's when Liv got infected, we think.
Yeah.
So how is Clive? Because like my thought was that everything happened 22 months ago, because that's a clean thing where he comes out of being undercover, he goes back to the police station.
Maybe each season isn't a year.
Nobody likes him because he's just had his thing there with the cover and the agents, and now he's whatever. And he comes back, has trouble adjusting. Then this white-haired goth chick comes in and says, "I want to help you solve a case," and he goes, "Oh." And then that's like the whole thing starting.
Even
I
if,
thought.
well, Clive probably shaved the mustache when he was no longer on Vice.
That's what I mean.
So that would have been then. But
yeah.
the issue here is if we're counting each season as a year, or
did he really glue it on, or was he joking?
even between season 1 and 2, when her brother was in the hospital or whatever that was, didn't it say like 12 months later or some bullshit like that, or 5 months later?
22 felt okay in terms of how long things have like happened, I thought. That's why I was like, oh, good, they finally gave us. So this whole thing started because it came up, and I was gonna say, like, I love when shows actually do spell out how long it's been, because on a procedural like a Psych or a Burn notice, it's very easy to be like, well, how long has it been since last episode? A week, a month? Is it tomorrow? I have no idea.
Yeah.
Because every week it's just like, hey, there's a new thing to do or whatever. So here I thought, oh, great, they finally cleared it up, and now we're sitting here like, fuck. I need to do triangular math and figure out what's going on.
There's no way to actually know unless someone says I was bit 4 years ago today.
Yeah, I think there's
scratched.
there's probably enough information out there. I just don't have it all feverishly scrawled out in my notes.
Well, this is kind of going in a downward spiral anyway.
Yeah, the last thing they introduced the emo tech guy in this episode.
Yeah,
and we're almost certainly going to see him again.
I hate him.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and I'm not a fan of this. I don't think. Because
I think it's funny when he's
Raven
like,
Blackbird
"That's a phone." There's no way to get the information from that. Wouldn't all the information be on the tiniest little piece of the thing that potentially wasn't damaged at all?
Yes. I choose not to nitpick these sorts of things, but yes.
I just hate it when like I am your technical advisor and I don't know what technical means. Like,
No, he's an actor and he's reading lines, and whoever writes the lines is an idiot because they don't care about anything except for, money. That's why everything sucks. And that's why a guy walks in with a power supply and says, "We got the hacker's hard drive," or whatever, or that there's two people on the same keyboard like typing and all that stuff.
NCIS, what?
I can't watch any show that does any of that, so I can't watch any shows.
Hmm.
So that's the last episode we're going to do of Izombie.
All right. Until next time, guys, don't die in a fire. Let us know in the comments below what you think, and we'll see you next time.